But first, Easter weekend is traditionally known as the start of the house buying season, when people begin viewing properties looking for a new home. But as we know, the market has been badly hit by falling prices and problems with getting a mortgage, especially for first-time buyers. So with 2 long bank holidays, do estate agents expect business to be on the upturn? Well, I'm joined by housing expert Henry Pryor. Henry, are estate agents going to be rubbing their hands together, expecting great footfall through their door, going to be making loads of money over the coming months with new house sales?
Well, Penny, they're certainly going to be hoping that they're going to, and that perhaps a little bit of the Middleton magic is going to rub off on them. This weekend is, of course, the traditional curtain raiser for the housing market across the country, with estate agents brightening up their offices, hoping to cash in on a rush of people wanting to get onto the housing ladder and to move through the course of the summer.
Now, first-time buyers, there's a big issue there, isn't it? They oil the wheels of the housing market, but people are having to stay in rented property, unable to raise deposits and get a mortgage.
They are indeed, and as we saw in the budget, the government is very keen to try and provide some kind of assistance for first-time buyers, who are often described as the foundations of the housing market. They're there trying to underpin and get people to move on up the ladder as they progress. Interestingly, recent research out suggests that ordinarily cash buyers and first-time buyers make up significant proportions of the market every month. Of course, about 40% of people who buy a house each month are normally cash buyers in the boom times. Last year we saw about half the number of transactions we normally see, and yet 37% of house purchases were by first-time buyers.
Now, there's a 37% increase in the number of new tenants registering for rental accommodation. That's according to the largest estate agency countrywide. Yep. A huge popularity then for buy-to-let. Absolutely,
and we saw again encouragement with changes to stamp duty land tax for investors that came in with the budget, where the government understandably trying to replace priced out first-time buyers who are struggling and finding it so difficult to scrape together the necessary deposits in order to get onto the housing ladder, replace those with investors, buy-to-let people, for example, who will increase the private rented sector stock of rental properties and thereby provide an alternative for those who traditionally have always wanted to own their own home.
So what's your prediction for the next generation of homeowners or home dwellers? How will the landscape be in the buy-to-let, in the renters and the first-time buyers?
Well, I'm sure we're going to find that here we are on St George's Day. An Englishman's home always traditionally has been his castle. I think the next generation of home occupiers are going to be by and large tenants, because as the spending cuts kick in and people find themselves having to repay their student loans, for example, scraping together the necessary funds. At the moment, about £26,000 out of taxed income is going to be impossible for the vast majority of people, who are then going to have to find themselves renting rather than buying.
So we're going to be more like our European counterparts.
Absolutely.
Henry Pryor, thank you very much indeed.